Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. We're going to be in chapter 16 on John Maxwell, the 21 indispensable qualities of a leader, becoming the person that others will want to follow. And so we have managed to make it to chapter 16. I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about responsibility. If you won't carry the ball, you can't lead the team. And that's very important because you have to be able to carry the ball in order to lead a team. So if you're not able or not willing to carry a ball, then how can you even lead a team if you're not willing to? And so Michael Corder, who is an editor-in-chief of Simon & Schuster, says success is on any major scale requires you to accept responsibility. In the final analysis, the one quality that all successful people have is the ability to take on responsibility. And then John C. Maxwell says a leader can give up anything except final responsibility. And so here we are again and fleshing it out. And he says here that rarely in American culture today, do you see the kind of responsibility displayed by James Bonham and his companions? People now focus more on their rights than on their responsibilities. And that is so true. If you've ever led a team, you've been in management or a supervisor, people are more concerned about their rights than responsibilities. And if you give them responsibilities, then they want to talk about what their rights are and is the responsibilities in line with their rights. And so reflecting on current attitudes, my friend Haddon Robinson observes, if you want to get rich, invest in victimization. It is America's fastest growing industry. And if you really think about it, victimization is the fastest growing industry. And we never want to, put any real victims down or shame any victims. And that's even, victim shaming. And the word victim is so fastest growing that people have forgotten what the true meaning of victim is. And so it's really true. If you want to get rich, invest in victimization, because it says it is the America's fastest growing industry. And I do believe that. He points out that millions of people are becoming rich by identifying, representing, interviewing, treating, insuring, and counseling victims. So there is the genuine victims out there and survivors. And then there's the ones that are saying they're victims and they're really not victims. But this is the fastest growing industry. Good leaders never embrace a victim mentality. And so you cannot embrace a victim mentality. You cannot embrace a victim mentality. They recognize that who and where they are remain their responsibility. And so not that of their parents, their spouses, their children, the government, their bosses, or their coworkers. They face whatever life throws at them and give it their best, knowing that they will get an opportunity to lead the team only if they've proved that they can carry the ball. And so when we think about people saying they are a victim, as a leader, you can't embrace that victim mentality. Oh, woe is me. As a leader, you got to recognize your responsibility. You even have to recognize the part that you played in or participated in and keep it moving as a good leader, as an effective leader. You have to make sure that, you are not leading with not a victim mentality. And so there are some things to look at that he gives us, some characteristics of people who embrace responsibility. And it's just like, people have to embrace responsibility and not blame others when they've made choices or decisions. So they get the job done. In a study of self-made millionaires, Dr. Thomas Stanley of the University of Georgia found that they all have one thing in common. They work hard. They work hard. Not wanting someone else to work hard and you get rich off of them and their fame and fortune, but they work hard. One millionaire was asked why he worked 12 to 14 hours a day. He answered, "It took me 15 years working for a large organization to realize that in our society, you work 8 hours a day for survival. And if you work only 8 hours a day, all you do is survive. Everything over 8 hours is an investment in your future. No one can do the minimum and reach its maximum potential. And that's very true. If you're only doing the minimum, you're only going to get minimum results. But if you're doing the maximum, then you can get maximum results. But minimum, you will get minimum. It's just like saying, I'm going to give, I'm going to plant turnips and expect to get collard greens. It doesn't work like that. So you're gonna get what you put out. So if you plant collard greens, then that's what you should get. You're not gonna get turnip greens if you plant collard greens. And so really, doing the minimum is only really what you're going to get. You're not going to get maximum by putting out minimum. So how do people maintain a get it done attitude? Well, they think of themselves as self-employed. If you want to achieve more and build your credibility with followers, adopt that mindset. It can take you far. And then number 2, they're willing to go the extra mile. Responsible people never protest. That's not my job. And you hear a lot of people will tell you that's not my job. And that's why a lot of job descriptions now, you need to read your job descriptions very thoroughly when you are on a team, whether you are the leader, like the supervisor or manager, or whether you are the follower, the employee, on the team that's not in leadership, because it is very important to understand what your job is and the role and everything that comes with your job description. And so when someone tells you that's not my job, you have to pull out the job description and remind them, hey, this is the job description. If you don't have it, I'll give you a copy of it. I'll show you where you can find it, but this is your job description. And that's why a lot of companies now and employers put in there and other duties. And those other duties mean they can ask you to do other things, so you can't come back and say that's not my job. They're willing to do whatever it takes to complete the work needed by the organization. So if you want to succeed, be willing to put the organization ahead of your agenda. And that's the thing, that if you are really willing to succeed and want to succeed, it's like being on a team. You have to put the team ahead of your own personal aspirations or your own personal selfishness. And if you want to succeed, be willing to put the organization ahead of your agenda. And so number 3, they're driven by excellence. Excellence is a great motivator. People who desire excellence and work hard to achieve it are almost always responsible. And when they give their all, they live at peace. So if you're giving your all on a day-to-day basis, you should be at peace. Because if you realize that you're not giving it your all, then you will not be at peace. You will wrestle. When you go to bed at night, you will be kept up at night, tossing and turning, because you felt like you left a stone unturned. You didn't cross all your T's and you didn't dot all your I's. And when they give their all, they live at peace. So success expert Jim Rohn says, stress comes from doing less than you can. And that's what I'm talking about. If you are doing less than you really can, you will be up at night wrestling, tossing and turning. It will boggle your mind until you accept that you can do more, until you are willing to do what you're supposed to do. And especially if it's in your calling and you're just not accepting your calling or doing what you need to do. Make high quality your goal. Make high quality your goal, and responsibility will naturally flow. See, you want quality over quantity. So make that a high priority and make that your goal. And then number 4, they produce regardless of the situation. And that's what I was saying when we first started with this leadership series, is that being creative and finding a way. So the ultimate quality of a responsible person is the ability to finish. In An Open Road, Richard L. Evans writes, it is priceless to find a person who will take responsibility, who will finish and follow through to the final detail. To know when someone has accepted an assignment, that it will be effectively, conscientiously completed. Okay? So if you want to lead, you've got to produce if you want to lead. No leader has ever not produced and stayed in that lead position. That's the thing. If you're running a race and you're in the lead, you got to produce. You got to keep on running and keep that edge, because if you stop producing and slow down and look behind you, you will not be able to win that race. You will not stay in the lead. So if you want to lead, you've got to produce. And then let us reflect on it. Gilbert Arlen offers this advice. When an archer misses the mark, he turns and looks for the fault within himself. Failure to hit the bullseye is never the fault of the target. It's never the fault of the target. Okay, the target is just sitting there waiting for someone to hit the bullseye. They're waiting for someone to hit their target. So it's never going to be the target. It's never going to be their fault. It's going to be the person that's trying to hit the target. So to improve your aim, improve yourself. And it takes practice. It takes due diligence. It takes being consistent, and it takes hard work daily, day in and day out. And are you a target when it comes to responsibility? Do others see you as a finisher? See, are you a person that starts jobs and never finish them? Or are you a person that gets the job done? You start one project and you see it and you finish it through, even if there were setbacks, even if there was hardships, but you still see the project through. And do people look to you to carry the ball in pressure situations? Do they look to you to carry the ball? And if you do have the ball, are you looking to pass it off to someone else? Because if you pass that ball off to someone else, make sure it's someone that's willing to produce. And are you known for excellence? Are you known for excellence or mediocrity? Mediocre work or mediocrity? Are you known for excellence or just poor quality? And if you haven't been performing at the highest level, you may need to cultivate a stronger sense of responsibility. And we want to bring it on home. So improve your responsibility. Let's do something. He tells us to do the following. So it says, keep hanging in there. Don't give up. Keep hanging in there. It says sometimes an inability to deliver despite difficult circumstances can be due to a persistent problem. Sometimes it seems like a problem is just never going to go away. It's never going to solve itself. But the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're going to miss a deadline, lose a deal, or fail to get a program off the ground, stop, and figure out how to succeed. Stop, and then figure out how to succeed, to keep going. But you got to stop first, and then figure it out. Think outside the lines. Don't be these just lines here, but think outside the lines. Outside the lines. And can you work through the night? Can you call a colleague to help you? Can you hire a staff member or find a volunteer to help? Creativity can bring responsibility to life. Being creative. Finding a way. And then admit what's not good enough. There's nothing wrong with being honest and open and admitting when it's not good enough. So he tells us if you have trouble achieving excellence, maybe you've lowered your standards. You don't want to ever lower your standards. You want to have high standards, but always remember that when you're setting goals, that they must be measurable. We talked about that too. So look at your personal life for places where you've let things slip. See, we all have let things slip in our personal lives, but we can get back on track. So we can reflect and look at our personal lives and see where we've let things slip. And where we've let them slip, then we need to go ahead and try to get it fixed, finish the job. Don't sit there and let it just linger linger and not take care of the jobs that you started, but you have not finished them. And then make changes to set higher standards. So if you let things slip, then look at what you've let slip. Go back and make the changes to set higher standards. It will help you to reset the bar of excellence for yourself. And then you want to find better tools. If you find that your standards are high, your attitude is good, and you consistently work hard, and you still don't achieve the way you like, get better equipped. Improve your skills by taking classes, reading books, and listening to tapes. And we talked about that too. Find a mentor. Do whatever it takes to become better at what you do. And then our daily takeaway is an inmate at Butte County Jail in California explained his absence from jail to sheriff's deputies in this way. I was playing pole vault and I got too close to the wall and I fell over the wall. When I regained my senses, I ran around to try and find a way back in, but being unfamiliar with the area, got lost. Next thing I knew, I was in Chico. People seldom realize how weak their excuses are until they hear some from others. And I know that most of us have heard of some very weak excuses, even some unusual excuses. And so we want to stop making excuses to why we are not finishing the job, that we are letting things slip, and that we're not putting out high quality work. We want to make sure that whoever we're leading, that we are a positive reflection of what they see. They want to see someone that's not going to give up, that's willing to go the extra mile, that's willing to work hard, that's willing to produce quality workmanship, that's willing to be that leader that can lead others. They want to see those things. And so that's our leadership video for today. And again, this is coming from John C. Maxwell, the 21 indispensable qualities of a leader, becoming the person others will want to follow. And again, if you have not subscribed to the video, please, to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video. And again, there is no monetary being received on these videos, bringing you the John C. Maxwell. And he really is someone that I do admire and respect in his books, and I read his books, and I think that he has some good information to share with all of us, whether we are in leadership or aspiring to be in leadership, or we just want to be better, leaders within ourselves, or even good followers, because you don't necessarily have to be in leadership in order to read these books to be better at who you are, whether you are in a parental role or even as an employee and in a parental role, even in your church as a leader, in your community, whatever you do as an advocate, arranging some type of event. But whatever it is, I don't think that we can ever stop learning. We should always be teachable and adaptable to learning, and open-minded and willing to follow, because a good follower becomes a good leader if that's what your desire is. But you have to be willing to follow and be a good follower in order to be an effective leader. And so I appreciate everyone that stops by to view my videos, and whatever you can take away from it, do so. And if it's something that you already know, always think of others and say, I know someone that can use this. I know someone that this might be able to help. I mean, I've had friends that have used to call me all the time and they want to talk about all their problems at work. And for me, I always tried to give them some information, not just advice, but some information that they could use, some useful information. And, depending on what the situation was or what the conversation was, I always tried to give them some useful information to help them. You will find that some people don't want that, even if you try to give it to them and refer them to scriptures to read their Bible, or you bring up some statistics and some information, research that has been proven and verified, scholarly journals or whatever it is. Some people don't want that. And you can't make even though you can lead, the horse to the water, you can't make them drink. So those are people that you say, this is the information, here it is, and it's up to you to take it. Self-determination. People have a right to choose. So that's what I say. They have that freedom. And so, but I try to give information to help others. And so again, I appreciate you stopping by, watching my videos, viewing them, and thank you so much for tuning in. And again, we're in 2021, and so we are talking about leadership and just being a better person overall. And so I think that we all can work on ourselves. It's important to continue to use our brains, to use our minds, to do our own research, and to still have that freedom to make a choice on who you want to be and how effective you want to be for others, and even being able to help others, that need help, because there are a lot of people out here that are missing information, that need help. And we can always say, oh, you can go to Google, you could do that, but Google sometimes could be wrong, like MapQuest or whatever it was we used to use. And sometimes you can get on there and be trying to find directions. They'll have you way somewhere else, telling you it's 30 miles away when you're really just down the street. So it's always good to seek out information for yourself and to learn and to get a mentor if you can, that will help you, someone you trust that's willing to tell you the truth, to be honest with you, but to do it in love and to do it in compassion and kindness, but willing to tell you the truth. Because we don't want someone that's just going to tell us everything we just want to hear just to make us feel good. We want someone that's willing to tell us the truth. And so I appreciate you again. And then the other thing is, you might be wondering, why do I have this hat on? Well, this is my hat I usually wear when I go running, because it can get cold. And I have some running hats per se, but they're not going to keep my ears and head warm. This will actually keep my ears and head warm. So this is one of my running hats that's much warmer. And it's funny because I made this hat many, many years ago when I lived in another city. And I was in a sewing class, I was doing a refresher course. And my teacher at the time, she was helping me, and we took some scrap material. It was something that I think her adopted daughter had made something with, and she had this scrap fabric. And so I was able to use this scrap fabric, and I made me a hat. And I really do like this hat a lot. It's such a cool hat. And I've gotten many compliments on this hat. It's nothing fancy, nothing expensive, but just some scrap fabric. So guess what? Even with some scrap fabric, you can put stuff together, that is useful. And it doesn't always have to be expensive. So it's how you see things and how you perceive things. And just a matter of being creative, you will find a way. So God bless you all on this evening. And God willing, I'll be back tomorrow with chapter 17. And so again, please, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber, and share the video. And one other thing, again, this information is coming from John C. Maxwell, and I like to give credit where credit is due. And this is just to be able to present information or used for teaching and helping people to be better and helping them to strive for a more excellent way. So God bless you all on this evening. Bye.